All right, welcome on back, everybody, to another episode of the Release Valve and Mental Warfare. I'm your host of the Release Valve, Sean Hanlon, and I'm here with the host of Mental Warfare, Kyle Spain. And we have another special guest here tonight. Kyle, what is the situation? What is going on?
Oh man, I'm hyped for this one. Longtime friend, high school mate, Eric Franks in the building. What is going on? Appreciate you, brother, taking the time out of your day. Time is so precious, and for you to come on here, man, it's a blessing for us. So, man, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks. It's been a long time, bro. It's just crazy, dude.
Yeah, man, time flies, right, man? What is that, man?
Dude,
18. We were.
last time I seen you, bro,
Oh, yeah, it's almost been double our life.
it's been like, so since we seen each other, people have graduated that were born that year.
Yeah,
Right.
yes. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's wild. That's a crazy way to put it.
Yeah.
That is a crazy way to put it. But man, I mean, but that's perfect, man. So what have you been up to since then?
Uh, well, I moved to LA and I'm
Okay,
here for like 10, 11 years. Uh,
okay,
Met a girl, had a kid,
hey,
had
all
a,
right,
and had another kid.
okay. So you got three of them things now.
In between that, I was first I was trying to do acting, but I didn't try that hard. And
Okay,
then I found a gym for fighting, and at first I thought it was an MMA gym, but it was just a Muay Thai gym. So I
Oh,
okay,
shit.
started doing that when my first son was born, uh, and then like I jumped in too quick, so I was like only training off and on for like a year, and then I did jiu-jitsu for like 2 months, and then I did my first fight.
Oof.
I had lost by a decision, so at least it was a decision. But
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing on the cage or wrestling, and then
Right.
four MMA fights, and then I had like a 5 year hiatus from fighting, and then I just had my last fight 2 weeks ago for the first time in like five years, and
Man.
that was crazy. Midlife crisis, brother. So that's all.
Right.
hey,
Right.
hey, but you know what? But you're in a perfect place, right? You know, this is what this podcast is all about. And again, much appreciative of you coming on here.
Yeah.
But how did you get started? You just walked up to a gym and you were like, hey, let me get into fighting, or like what were you going through at that time that brought you to that thought?
Well, I mean, I deal with a lot of stuff, but like, so one specific incident did happen where somebody, my wife was pregnant. Somebody tried to uh, get in her face, so I almost fought the dude. So
Yeah.
and then I was like, you know what? Because I always liked fighting, so I was like, well, I did get in that big ass fight back in high school back in the day. I don't know if you remember that one. Where I got hit with
I
back.
actually,
Remember that? So, uh,
I
yeah,
remember hearing about that.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, you
I
said it was
remember
with
hearing about
who?
Remember, it was a long time ago when we were just like seniors, bro. I got jumped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but then so then when that happened, I decided to find a gym, and then I started doing it like 3 times a week, and then it was hard with the kid and work, but I still was that's why I started mainly, and then I just got into it, and it really helped with a lot of the stress and certain things.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So, I mean, what was the thought process? Some dude got into your lady's face. You almost got in a fight with the dude, and so what were you thinking at that point? What was your mindset? What were you thinking?
I was just down to fight, so but like I didn't know any try to have training back then. I was just I would have just fought, and who,
Right.
who knows what would have happened. But like
Yeah.
luckily she is more level headed than me. So if it wasn't for her, I would probably be somewhere in a bad spot. So luckily
Right.
I got out of that situation, and then decided, hey, let me since I like doing stuff like this, let me go like find an outlet, and
Yeah.
that's what I found.
Let me actually learn how to do it. Right?
Yeah,
That was
just
one thing I remember the first time I walked into a gym. I always felt like I was kind of a tough guy. I could handle myself type of thing. And you find out real quick in those type of gyms where you stand amongst the pack. And when you first walk in, it is always at the bottom. You are always it is wild to think that the littlest things that somebody could do to you and completely immobilize you or just control you to the point that it's just it's so frustrating and helpless feeling that you get that take over. And some people shy away from that, but other people, it seems like somebody like you would get a taste of that and all right, let me learn more, let me get into this.
Yeah.
that. Well, see, what? Yeah, when I first started just striking, I would stay and be like, hey, because my I thought I had good cardio. I thought I was in shape, bro. But then,
Right.
dude,
I could run. I could run a mile. Like
yeah.
you
But
think
then,
of such the little basic things there's so much more to it in fighting or any kind of combat sport or whatever, that your energy, your cardio, whatever you have that you think that you're good at is going to go out the window real quick when you get tired. It's so fast.
Yeah, I've only dabbled with something very so little. Me being a basketball player, it's very different from running on a treadmill or anything like that. You're using all of your body, which takes a lot more energy than just running on a treadmill. So I can only imagine with all of the reflexes, dodges, moves, cuts, turns, ducks, dodges, swings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That it requires a lot more energy that you're expending. So I can imagine how it, and that was going to actually lead to one of my next questions was you go in there, you establish that you're not in shape, and so what do your workout routines look like? Like, what was that process once you started getting going?
when I first started, oh, it's different now. Like now I got it down, but like
Right, for sure.
we found a different gym because when I moved uh, from the LA, more North Hollywood area, now I live in more of the desert. I found a different gym which incorporates more strength and conditioning. But when I first started, it was more running, just doing rounds on pads, and then jump roping. Not that much weight, like lifting weights. I didn't get started lifting weights for like probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, which that changed my game. So, but originally it was more just like battle ropes, constant circuits, running. I run like just when I was training for fights, I would run like 15 miles a week to try and like get my cardio good, and then
Right.
I would train probably 4 hours a day, 6 days, and then on the seventh day I would usually just run, and then that would be like for 6 to 8 weeks, I think. But
Hey, that's a lot. That's a lot of training.
For a fight camp?
yeah, for that was for fight camp. But like
For fight camp, yeah.
regular, it would be I would just hit pads and then just do jump rope, and I would just try and stay in shape. Unless I was in actual fight camp, then fight camp was yeah, that shit was a bitch.
So what was that first fight camp like? I know you said you were really new to the game, only had a few months of training here and there, and then you get that first one lined up. What was that like?
So the first one, like I was super excited, and like I said, I only had like I think a year and a half of striking, but it was like off and on because my first kid was born at that time, and so it was a little difficult because then also dealing with some other things mentally with that, and then with my wife at the time, so it was hard to train constantly, and then I it was funny. I saw some guys. When you're talking about like wanting to learn more, I saw some guys in the ring doing grappling, and I was like, "What is that?" I was like, "That looks amazing."
Right.
Then there was actually like an MMA coach there, but like he taught like the basics. So I jumped into that, and like I said, did like 2 months, kind of 2 months. It was like 2 days a week, and like just learning the basics of underhooks, honestly, I didn't understand underhooks and overhooks until like my third fight,
Right, right.
and then trying to stop takedowns. So then when I got the told I was going to be able to fight, I was excited, and then he's like, it's going to be 140 pounds. That was my first fight. Was 140 pounds. So, and that was because I never cut weight before. It wasn't too hard. So, and then the guy showed up 4 pounds overweight. And I was like, okay, bro. All right, that's cool.
Wish I would have known that, so I didn't have to cut that last little bit, but that's okay.
Because the last pounds are the hardest.
Right.
Cool. So I
Now,
fought.
what were you walking around at that point?
I was like 155.
Okay, so not too bad. Not too bad of a cut.
Yeah, it wasn't until later. It was just way harder. So, but yeah, and then I had
Yeah.
that. And it was talk about like, when you guys talk about mentals, man. Like that is the hardest. I think physically it was crazy, but mentally it is the hardest thing I've probably ever done in my life.
What, cutting?
No, well, cutting.
Which part?
And then cutting, and then questioning myself, and then anxiety.
The lead up to the fight?
Yes, like you're training to fight another man.
Right. Who's
Like,
training to fight you?
you're training, yeah, and like he's coming to kill you, bro. Like,
Right. That's a wild concept, you know.
it's
Yeah.
like,
We talk about sports and stuff like that, you know, playing you know, we don't like to call it a game, but we'll say playing a certain sport, you get ready for that, but that's a different aspect, it's a different animal.
Absolutely.
Fighting is that's
it's-
so primitive. You get broken down to your primitive selves, right? That's something that, you know,
I
if there's
love that word
nothing
you
else
use,
in there.
primitive. Man, it's almost like like a life and death situation, man. It's fight or flight. I mean, your nerves
Right.
are at the highest level possible. Like, what were the thoughts that were going through your head? That anxiety. What were the thoughts that are going on in your mind?
so my first fight, I in the beginning of the fight, it was yeah, I felt I had so much anxiety. I thought I was watching myself in the crowd. I don't know how to explain it. Like so,
Outer body experience.
So-
Yeah.
so like
Let's fly.
the craziest part about fighting to me is like when you step in the cage or the ring, it doesn't matter, and like you're standing across from the guy, and the ref's in the middle, and he goes, "Are you ready?" And then they look to you, go, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not ready."
Yeah.
You're like, "Sure, let's go, whatever."
I guess I'm here.
You start walking towards the person, and then you're like, "Holy shit, I'm about to throw hands and kick," and then that guy was a dick because I went to go touch his hand. He threw a spinning wheel kick at me, and luckily my friend told me to step off to the side before because he had a like a feeling. And so-
Yeah.
But then we started just throwing, and I remember I was on the ground, and I remember specifically, I thought I was watching myself, and then in the middle of getting hit, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "Get up, you fucking bitch!" And then I stood up while I was getting hit in the face. And I was like, "All right, bro, I'm here." All right, let's go.
Yeah. I'm in it now. You hear that a lot. That
That's-
sometimes it takes a few punches to really get into, kind of realize that you're in a fight, right? You know, you see
That's
people.
wild.
I've seen so many fights. Yeah, you see somebody just kind of take that slow walk and they dance around for a little bit, and then after those few punches they get hit or whatever, you see that their eyes look a little different, right? They're a little more aware of the situation at hand.
Alert.
You know, they're a little more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, this is real.
The only problem with so camo out here, like the amateur ones, like especially my fights after, I was cutting to 135, and camo there is you weigh in and you fight the same day. So
Damn.
I was pretty much, I was kind of like pressured to make 135. I should never have done that. So I felt like I was in quicksand when I was fighting. I felt so slow, and I was drained in every one of my fights.
Drained, depleted.
Right.
I don't know if you ever like, you know, in your dreams sometimes when you're fighting and like you feel like you're slow.
Pillow hands. Yep.
Felt in the beginning
You
of
felt that in real life?
Yeah, I felt that.
I mean, that is a real life nightmare, right? Because that's the type of stuff that when we dream about it, we wake up
It's
so
like,
mad and
whoa.
frustrated, and our heart rate
Right.
is going and stuff. We're so worked up. We're so angry at the other person because they didn't feel the punches that we were throwing at them, type of thing. So I can only imagine
Yeah.
going to do that and then realizing, like you said, Kyle, that you're awake. This is real,
Right.
and this is what's
Right.
happening. Like that's a real life nightmare.
Yeah. That shit was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, so how old were you when you started this?
I started training 28, 27, 27, 28. I started.
Okay. And how many fights have you had?
I've
Or
had
in total?
4 MMA and 2 Muay Thai.
Okay. And what's your record in those?
My MMA record is trash, bro. I was 1-3. I was 2-0
1
in
to 3?
2-0 in Muay Thai.
Okay. Well, how did you handle defeat? I mean, let's talk about the first with that first fight. Even that first fight, did you win that first fight or did you lose it?
No, I lost by decision.
Decision, right?
Lost by
what,
they lost by decision.
what was running through your mind as soon as the fight's over and you realize that you lost? What's going through your mind? You're still in the cage.
I felt like I let everybody down. It's
Who's
happened.
everyone?
All my people that came and watched me, everybody that trained with me. I remember. I mean, this sounds soft, right? But I remember going to the back, and I was like pretty sad, and then came out, and then all my teammates were there, and they were like, good job, bro. And I remember like getting super emotional, and I was like, because I felt like I let all of them down, but like they still came out and supported me, so that was cool. But like it was like,
Yeah.
like, because you in your head, you're like, dude, I fucking suck. You know what I mean? Like, but then you watch it back, you're like, it's not as bad as I thought it was for my first fight.
Right.
Still, it's like, it's hard to deal with. So it's just,
We're our own worst enemy, right? In so many different things, and we're always going to be way overcritical of ourselves than we are of other people.
Yeah.
We, Kyle, we talk about this with our perfect days, right? We wake up in the morning, we just expect everything to go our way. It's like that with, with just about everything that we do in life, right? You kind of, there's a part of you that just expects it to work out and go the way that you see it going, and then when it doesn't, it's such a shock. It's such a blow to your ego. More than anything, it's your ego, right? But we never recognize it as our ego at the time. We recognize it as our identity, and especially when something like fighting, you dedicate so much time. Kyle, we talked about the dedication that we put into the path that we choose, right? And especially with fighting, like we said, it's such a broken down to our primitive selves type of thing. How could you not identify yourself with the outcome of that fight? There's nothing else. There's just me and this other human being. And like you said, Kyle, back in the day, that was a life or death situation. So part of you is going to kind of take it that way. Like, man, I pretty much just died. Like, I'm not here anymore because I wasn't capable enough. I wasn't able to do more or whatever. And to touch base on the feeling that you were saying, with your people, your team, your corner, the people that come and support you, you recognize that, you dedicated a lot of yourself and your time to this craft. And a lot of them dedicated their time to it too. Training partners, coaches, they're holding pads, they're working out with you. It's a part of them that's in there too. So you're definitely going to feel like, you didn't uphold your end of that deal, right? They upheld their end. They were there for you. They supported you. They helped you. They helped you with the weight cut. They helped you, work out and train and get you ready to this point. And now it's up to you. And it didn't go the way that you wanted it to, or that it should have, that you felt that it should have. And I could see that being a huge letdown. Especially early on too, it's so tough. You don't have that experience of losing before, or even winning for that matter. You have no experience at all. So getting that first one. So you get that first one, like, we're talking about being in the back and you're feeling down and stuff like that. How about like the next day or a week removed from it? What's going through your mind during that time?
the first fight wasn't too bad. Like, I just remember I ate a lot. So
Yeah, right. Weight cut's over. You get to indulge.
but I mean, I deal with a lot mentally already, so that just adds to it. So and then it was just
If you don't mind, could you indulge a little bit more? What is it? The things that you deal with mentally?
I mean, so okay, so I had four MMA fights, right? So I and then there was also stuff going on in my life regardless. But after the fourth fight that I had, I was mentally checked out. Um,
Okay.
I remember being in the cage. Told my coach, I was like, I don't want to be here. And then there's a lot of stuff leading up to it. And
Okay.
then I have it's too personal, but like so I after that fight, I had a this is why I've been gone. This is why I haven't fought in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
take it, man, and listen. Take your time.
yeah,
Take your time, bro. Like it. This is what this is for. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I first. There's a couple of things I wanted to commend you on. First and foremost is getting into the ring initially. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even have the courage
mhm,
to to even take the first step to doing what they want to do, right?
mhm.
So for that, I commend you on, right? Because some people don't even try. If you don't try, you don't even know if you would have won or not. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the outcome, right? But that's the problem. We all want to win, and when we lose, we get hit in a different way. That's why a lot of us don't even try
Yeah,
in the first place. And the thing is, like, what you're feeling isn't something that somebody else hasn't felt before. Like getting on here and just anybody talking to any about anything it's difficult to be vulnerable. It's difficult to talk about stuff. What Sean, we've talked about it in fear of being judged. And you know, you're on a podcast, of course. And if you don't feel comfortable, of course, but just know that we feel you. You know what I'm saying? We understand you, and you just feel better, you know, once you find that moment, that courage, that to get it out. And you know, just like I said, take your time and you know, reveal what you want to reveal, but know that in your revealing process, you're going to feel a lot better doing so.
I mean I've gone through so like just to be quick about it. So like I have a like severe like OCD and anxiety and like depression and a little bit bipolar, but and ADD and all that bullshit. But I try not to talk about it because it's all dumb. But no, I'm sorry. But
No,
anyways,
you're good.
so like after my fourth fight, I was
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize to cut you off. Don't minimize it. You know, like it's very real. You
yeah
know what I'm saying? And that's what we talk about. Like mental health is so important, and nothing that we go through can be minimized. You know what
yeah
I'm saying? It has to be important for all of us.
for sure. So after the fourth fight, like I said, I didn't really want to be there, and then like I was having my my third kid was about to be born. I remember this, and then I stopped training for a little bit, so I didn't have that outlet, like that release valve talk about, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just kept building. I wasn't sleeping, and then I had a psychotic break. I saw some things that, and I heard some things that you should never see or hear. They and I had to. I was in and out of treatment for about 2 years. So then I'm, and then I finally am getting my shit back together. I was on a lot of pills. I don't, a lot of different fucking pills. So, uh,
Right.
and and so then I finally got to a point where I'm training again, and then I had, like I said, this is like a midlife crisis because, but it's also like a release to finally say, hey man, if I was in the right space in my head, I could have like actually been pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. I could have gone somewhere and done something. Yeah.
yeah, I want to prove it to myself
Right.
that my older, like I can still beat up these young kids. Still do
Right
I
it.
on.
love it, man. Bro, I got to piggyback off of what Kyle said real quick because I am that type of somebody who didn't take that walk, who didn't go down that path because of my anxiety and my fears, and I let those things get the better of me, and my depression too. Not realizing that that's what it was at the time. You know, I came up with all these different excuses and these different things to validate why I wasn't doing the things that I should have been doing, why I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do. You know, I had a lot of self-sabotage because of that, because it was an easier scapegoat for me than it was to actually take that walk and go down that path. Like I was saying to you when we first jumped on, you know, I never got established in mixed martial arts. I dabbled in it a little bit. You know, I dipped my toe in the pool a little bit there, but ultimately, like I said, I let those fears and those anxieties get the better of me. And, you know, I did a little bit of training here and there, different gyms and stuff like that. But I let all of those demons get the better of me. So I look at you and I think I'm so jealous in a good way, but like, man, I'm so jealous that you did that, man. I'm like, man, I love the fact, and especially hearing that. I don't love hearing that you were struggling, but I love hearing that you were able to get past that and you were able to take that walk, not once, but more than once in your life. And especially after going through so much. Again, we talk about this type of stuff all the time, and people allowing themselves when they get knocked down to stay down and to not fight back, and to allow themselves to get overwhelmed with all of those other things, and then just identifying themselves as somebody that could have done it, that should have done it, but they had all these reasons not to. You push past all of that, my man. And that...
Man, you should be... I'm proud of you. And it's been X amount of years. You know what I'm saying? And, yo, like it's like what Sean said. A lot of people get kicked down, they get knocked down, but you're back up, living out a dream that is living inside of you, bro. Like, you were checked out and now you are in a place mentally to where you're trying to thrive, where you're back on the horse, giving what God gave you. You know what I'm saying? This is the purpose in life, bro. We're not supposed to be down. If we do get knocked down, I take that back. But the most important thing is about getting back up and learning from those mistakes and continuing to drive through, continuing to push through, continuing to thrive, not letting the enemy try to take what's ours. And like we've talked about before, man, your story is inspiring, bro. Like, the people hear this and they're going to be like, wow, how strong is he? Wow, he went through a lot. But this is what this podcast is about. This is what this is for. We're about connecting. We're about listening to stories. We're about trying to share. We're about trying to reveal so we can connect, so we can try and have perspective, so we can be inspired. Man, like, for you to be back up at 37, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the things are starting to shift in this world to where age is starting to become just a number. And I love that, you know, because everything starts with mental. It starts with it's just a number. You know what I'm saying? We can really be whatever we want to be, and it's cliche. And I didn't understand it until most recently, you know. And it's about thriving. It's about trying to be better. It's about trying to fulfill your purpose, right? It's about finding your happiness, you know, like, and inspiring people on the way, bro. So I'm super proud of you and I don't 100%. Even know the details, but I can see the emotion on your face, bro. And for that, I've had chills this whole time, bro, for like, I don't even know how many minutes. And that's almost been a record, just understanding the energy, you know what I'm saying? And again, I thank you for coming on here and revealing that, because somebody's going to hear that story, let alone, I mean, aside from the both of us being inspired from what you do, but keep going strong, bro, because that's the example we need in this world.
Bro, if nothing else, be inspired by your own story. Like that's, you know, hear what you've done, hear what you've accomplished.
Yeah, be proud of yourself.
Be proud of that shit. Hell yeah, man, you did that. You went. Again, oh man, I'm so mad at myself, bro. Like, hearing this and hearing your story, I love it, man, because it's not easy. There's never an easy day, or nobody has an easy life in an extended period of time, right?
And if they say it, they're lying.
At some point, you're going to hit some sort of a struggle, and some people handle it well, and some people, they have so many cards stacked against them that once you hit that little bit of struggle, man, it's not a little, it's a big struggle, and it's that much more compiled on top of you when you're trying to accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish in life. And we talked about this before, Kyle, you know, how much of a hit that is towards who you who you are on the inside when you aren't able to accomplish the things that you want to be able to do. So again, to go out there, do it, even lose that first fight, and to still get back out there and want to continue to get better and to continue to do it, and losing a few fights and still getting back out there and doing it, and going through something so hard that you had to take a step away from everything that you had going on and to rebuild yourself pretty much to get back to a point that you could take that walk again. Bro, be proud of yourself, man, because
bro, you gotta give yourself some grace, man. You know, there's times in life where you gotta look back and be like, all right, where was my heart at? Did I try? You know what I'm saying? What was I going through, man? And a lot of people are hard on themselves for you know, the experiences and the traumas that we go through in our life. And a lot of what we go through, we often feel like we're going through whatever we're going through alone. And there's so many people going through the same things, whether they fail to admit it or not. You know, we're all in this journey to find our purpose and to succeed within that purpose. No one wants to feel defeat, and within defeat, there's shame and embarrassment. And nobody wants to feel that. Nobody wants to reveal that. Nobody wants to tell anybody like, oh, I feel shame. You know, I feel embarrassed, or whatever the case is. And the fact of the matter is, we all feel this, right? I don't know how many times I'm in the game, I have a bad game, and I'm like, damn, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, should I just hang up my shoes up right now? You know what I'm saying? And it's thoughts like that we all experience, and that's the truth of the matter, man. You know, but the world has been jaded, and this is why we're on here trying to bust open that crack. We're trying to expand that. We're trying to break out of that programming, bro. And you're a part of that piece. You know what I'm saying? You're a part of that puzzle. You're a part of the equation. You're a part of the answer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what it's about. It's about perseverance. It's about there's like Sean said, there's no one person that's got it all figured out. And even if they all have it figured out, there's still things that are going on in their life that they're burdened by. And like we talked about before, finances aren't everything. You know, if you're mentally checked out with millions and millions of dollars in your account, what does that do you? What does that do for your family, right? I mean, money means nothing if you don't have anybody to spend it with, right? And so, go you, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm so impressed, man. I'm just sitting here like, man, I can only imagine because I didn't take that walk. So, oh man. So, all right. So to bring it back, we talked about your first fight and your first loss. Talked about your hiatus and coming back from that. Let's talk about that first win. I want to hear about that first success story that you had. How was that? What was going through your mind then?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So
that was dope, I bet, right? Feeling like the man.
It was quick. Like, all my wins have been quick. So this one was like 14 seconds. So I think it was around there.
What?
Might have been like 18. So the guy came out, tried to throw a kick. I stepped back. I hit him. He tried to shoot for a single. I took his back, and I was like, "Oh, my arm is here." And then I choked him out.
Nice. Tap or choke him out?
Huh?
Did he tap or did you choke him out?
Yeah, I was like, "Why is he not tapping?" Because I was like, "This is perfect."
Because he was already out. That's crazy. All right, so what's that like? Yeah, I was just gonna say, what's that like? You realize he's out. They call the fight off. You won. What's going through your mind?
Gangster. So.
Yeah. Right.
I feel bad though, because like I shoved him off of me, and then I stepped him. I was like, "What's up?" And then just get that adrenaline, and then like you're doing stupid shit. So, but then I was yeah, I got too hyped, but so.
Understandably so. Got your first dub. You know, you're a little overly excited, and it's like we talked about. It's a primitive sport. You know what I'm saying? So it's a sport of dominance, right? It's an alpha sport. You know what I mean? So you're out there in the jungle. You know, the cage is the jungle, man. It's some lions. You know what I'm saying? So when you claim your territory, that's the kind of energy that's being presented in that moment. You know what I'm saying? But what did that do for your confidence moving forward? What did that do for your mentally going into your next fight and your next training? No, the process.
Well, see, here's the problem. So like it boosted me, my confidence. But then that's also when I started. That was my third. So and then my fourth fight is when things right before that started going downhill for me. So
Okay.
Oh, so you had that highest of highs and then the lowest of lows right after, man.
yeah, so I mean, like I was checked out midway training camp of the fourth fight.
Mm,
I just was going through the motions because I was like, I can't quit. So
right.
I remember someone telling me I can't let you quit, and I was like, "Are you right? I can't quit," because I wanted to just not do it because I was like
Yeah.
so, and I was like,
Yeah.
let's just do it anyway. And then my opponent changed day of, and which messed with me even more.
Wow.
I didn't see him weigh in, so I never knew if he made weight or not. So that that dude was like, I was like, and I was like passing out on the scale that day.
Wow.
I cut weight from because I let my weight go. I was like at 180, and I was cutting to 135, and I was like,
Ooh, that's
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
That explains
that's
why
a
you
cut
didn't
and a
have any
half.
energy.
Right.
that's why my last fight, bro. My last fight, I was like, nah, I'm gonna do 145, bro. I ain't going nothing else.
Right, right. So, all right. So you just had this most recent fight. You said was like 2 weeks ago after a 5 year
Yeah.
hiatus. So, what made you? What sparked that? All right, maybe I want to fight again.
The gym I started going to, it's called like Beautifully Violent Muay Thai, which I dig it. But
Nice. Shout out
boy,
to beautiful violent Muay Thai.
yeah, so my
Yes,
boy,
sir.
boy fought. His name was Will, and I was in this training camp helping him. And like I started like I getting that feeling again, and I was like, oh,
Mm.
and I was like, I ended it so terrible. I was like, I felt like a bitch, not to be like that kind of
No,
guy.
yeah, I get it. I hear you.
Like I'm a sucker, you know. So I was like, I
Yeah.
can't that way. I was like, I just need to fight at least one more time. So I was like, and then I started like putting my name out there. We kept trying to get fights. I literally said one of the times I was like, I'll fight anybody from 140 to 160. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I just want to get on the card. And then they found me someone, but then they didn't respond. So then I was like, all right, we're not gonna fight. So then I finally got on the card, and then I finally got to fight. So it was pretty cool. It's been a while. So, but this wasn't
So,
Muay Thai, which is it's. I'm way more cocky and confident with
yeah. Right, right.
What was the result of the fight?
TKO in minute 48, first
First
round.
round?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So what?
Well,
All right. So you're going through. You get back in there. You went through everything that you went through leading up to it. You finally get back in there, and it goes that way.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind?
Oh, my ego just such a huge.
you've got. I mean, especially after the hiatus and taking the win right before then, that's definitely got to be a couple
Yeah, I didn't.
double X.
So I got so like because I didn't get hit in the fight. Like I don't remember getting hit. So like I knocked him down. I knocked him down again, and then it was close to being knocked down again, and the ref stopped it. So
Waved it off. Yeah.
yeah, so
Nice.
it was a TKO. So and I was,
Right.
but yeah, like when after after victory, I was feeling pretty good, man, because it's been a while, and I was like, this. I just wanted to prove to myself. But now since
Man, absolutely after everything that you went through, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying. That's an all contributing factors to how good you felt after the win.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like everything that you went through, you finally came up on top and got a dub. You know what I'm saying? That's phenomenal. And
and
so
now
go ahead.
and now since I'm just gonna continue this midlife crisis and fight again, and then we'll see what happens.
That's what I was hoping for. I was like,
Ab-
man, I hope he keeps it
Absolutely,
going.
bro. Absolutely. I mean, for me, back in the days, and this maybe hasn't aged well, but midlife crisis, people buy sports cars and this and that, and it's why because they want to feel young again, right? And that's ultimately
I want to
what
beat.
midlife crisis start. You start getting gray hairs, right? You start getting gray hairs, your body starts hurting, right? And then it's like, oh man, I want to be young again. But you're doing it in a way that's athletic. You're doing it in a way that's getting your body moving, that's getting your brain back going, that's getting everything activated, which is going to loosen up the limbs, it's going to condition you, it's going to build muscle, right? You're doing it in the right way. So it's Yeah. It's you. I guess you can call it a midlife crisis, but it's the solution. It's a solution to what you're doing that's going to resolve. Call it a midlife crisis because we all have a midlife crisis.
I think it's
And
good as a human. I mean, not to be like a toxic person, but like as a man too, like to have like a goal or like something to accomplish.
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose.
yes,
Because when you don't have a purpose, dude, you lose your way in
you don't
life.
have drive.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
You have nothing to do. Like you're just lost in life. So when you have a purpose, it
Yes.
makes you better everywhere else in life. Like
100%.
Amen. Heavy.
yeah. So like that's why now I'm just trying to look for purpose, goals, accomplish things. It doesn't even have to be fighting. It's just like keep myself at a certain weight, keep myself at a certain kind of physical thing so that the rest of my life I'm mentally okay to do the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like get that
Right.
and like that's my goal to have a release. So that's stuff like that.
Like we talk about, Kyle.
bro. Like, come on,
This
man.
is the shit that we
Like,
talk about on a daily. I mean, Kyle and I, we talk about this pretty much every episode that we get on, but him and I have these conversations on these voice messages every single day. You know, we're tapping in because that's the importance of it, man, of getting those little releases because it's so easy to allow all of those things to pile up and get that pressure built up, and then it's exploding in all of these ways that we don't want it to explode, right? But it's always spilling out, and it's spilling out onto other people. There's collateral damage left and right, and then we got to deal with that, and it's so hard to deal with all of those things, like you said, if you don't have that purpose that you're striving for every single day. And it's such a man thing too, right? We talked about that. Like we can only speak for guys because we are guys, but it seems like every guy that we talk to has that same thing, man. You need to have that purpose to be able to work towards something aside from, you know, what you have going on at the house. Because some people, and some people just being a father or a husband or whatever is their purpose, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of my purpose. But there's so much more that I'm looking to do with my life and for myself and for others. And working a 9 to 5 ain't it. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to have that something for yourself that helps you kind of define who you are as a person, right? And like you said, if you're able to do that, it helps you take on all of those other things that you have going on in life, man. I'm so glad you said that because that's so true.
And also,
if we don't have that thing, right?
I feel like nowadays, like people get out too easy nowadays. Like people don't finish things. Like they're
Right.
they're applauded a lot of times for quitting. So like I want to keep the mentality to finish stuff. I don't want to teach my kids that like we got to finish.
absolutely, man. Preach to him, Eric. Come on, man. Like, you're only. But listen, and this is what I was talking to my wife about the other day, and it's about our past, and we all have a past, but it's about how you frame it, right? You took your past and you made it beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Through your experiences, you are an example now for the generations and for people, you know, to come. You went through a battle that a lot of people haven't overcome, and you're finding a way to overcome it. It's not over, of course, right? We still have a lot of life to live, and within that life, the enemy is always going to attack. He's always going to try to sabotage everything that we have going on up here. But like we talked about, Sean, continuing to adopt and acquire the tools mentally that we need to battle off those enemies, to find a release, to make sure that we're doing something to find purpose and becoming the best versions of ourselves, so we can be the best versions of ourselves to everyone else around. And even for myself, a couple of days ago, God told me in so many words that I'm too angry. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not living a life of happiness. I'm still not living a life of joy. I'm still letting my lack, you know, take over instead of being grateful for what I have. You know, the focus on lack, like we always do. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. And that's what puts us in a negative state of mind, right? But when we're focused on other things, when life hits differently and you start to realize, like, all right, this is what I'm doing, this is what I need to do, and you feel like you got that purpose that you're living out for. Life is that, like, that's what life is. Like, that's fulfilling. Right. You got your family, and now you're doing something. You're in a better headspace mentally. Like, you're doing the things that make you feel good. And that's what we talked about too, right, Sean? Doing the things that make you feel good in a healthy way. Right.
Right.
Because a lot of us aren't admitting what's going on with our lives. And we've talked about this before too. The 95% of the world is going through a struggle, but a majority of it aren't owning up, are in denial about it, which is even worse. Right? Because if you're in denial about it, then you're not aware of the problem that you have. And then and if you are aware of it, then you don't have enough courage, or you don't have an environment safe enough to talk about these things, right? So we've talked about that before, man. And so you're the example. You're able to talk about
so
this
many
because
examples.
of what you went through. You man, and go, man, be hyped about this.
Yo,
bro.
legit,
I'm
like,
hyped.
man. You literally encompass so many things that Kyle and I talk about on this podcast that are so important to our lives, our daily lives, every single day, and the interactions that we have with those around us. These type of things that you're talking about, that you've experienced, that you're bringing up, man, it's so crucial in our existence amongst other people. Like, we're not in this world alone, and we can sit back and let our own feelings get all caught up in us, or we could take action. We could do something about it. We could recognize the things that we have going on, and we could do something about it. Some people, like you said, Kyle, they never recognize it. Some people recognize it and don't have the courage or aren't brave enough to do something about it, or they don't feel safe enough to do something about it. Like you said, I'm not trying to repeat, but it's just so important, all of these things that you're talking about. And I love the fact, again, I don't love the fact that you found out the hard way, but that you were able to figure it out and were able to do something about it. Because again, I'm somebody that didn't do anything about it, and I luckily I was able to figure things out a little bit later. But damn, I wish I would have been able to figure it out when I was, in my early 20s, late teens, when I first got into mixed martial arts, and knowing how good it made me feel, and knowing how good, the entire everything about it, right? Because we talk about the correlation between mental and physical health all the time, and being able to do something physical that gives you mental benefits. There's nothing better, in my opinion, than combat sports. You get the best of both worlds from it.
Man, and love the fact, love all of it, Sean, right? And this is why. Because the truth of the matter is, we are all going through something. We are all battling something. There's something in our lives that are pulling us down from becoming the best people that we be, the enemy. Right. And so we're celebrating the fact that you overcame such a battle, that you overcame the battles that you are experiencing, because not a lot of us overcome it. We continue to live in it. You know what I'm saying? I talked to, I've talked to Sean about this before, and I asked people what their dreams are, and more times than not, I've got they don't have an answer, or they don't have a dream.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And what's life without an imagination, man? This is a side topic, man. My kids, they're so animated, right? There's kids in general, though, right? They have an imagination, right? And their imagination, even if it's with their toys or whatever the case is, they believe it. Their pretend mode they believe it to be true. Right? Until life starts happening, until we start getting around people that are negative, and then now they're like, no, that's not true. That can't happen. That's not possible. And then we lose our imagination. We stop believing in what's actually capable of what's possible. Right. And then we stop dreaming. And then I've talked about this too, born to create. We're born to do something with our lives. We were born to exploit the creativity through that's inside of us, and that's whatever dreams we have, that's whatever passions we have. Like, use your voice, bro, too. Like, go out in the world and talk about your story, because it's heavy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to touch people's lives, and you're going to touch people's lives by your voice, and that's something that I've learned too. Our words are so powerful.
100%.
That a lot of us neglect to speak because we don't feel like we have a voice to speak about or to speak on. You know what I'm saying? And I tell as many people as I can that everyone is a piece of this puzzle to make this world a better place. Everyone has a story that somebody else can benefit from, bro. And like, you're there. You've succeeded. Obviously, you haven't accomplished all of your goals. I mean, we still have goals to accomplish. But man, you're on the path, bro. Like, you're gonna change people's lives, and feel that. Feel that. That's real.
Legit, man. Legit.
All right, so What's the next step? You had a couple of fights a couple of weeks ago. You had a fight a couple of weeks ago. You got the one. You got the win. You're feeling good about it. How do we proceed? What's the process looking like? How do we train? Are we setting up a new fight? Are we looking to line some more up? What's going on?
So right now, I need to work. Unfortunately, I have real world shit. So
Right. Right.
gotta get. I gotta work for at least. I'm trying to fight in September or October. That would be cool. But I just got back. I took a little vacation to go visit my family, and now I've trained this whole week, and then I'm gonna start training like consistently again, and we'll see what happens. I'm trying to get on a card in September, or October, like I said. So, and then do a Muay Thai. Probably, I'm trying to do at least. We'll see what happens. But I'm trying to do one MMA fight before I'm done because I just want to prove to myself that I'm better than that guy before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I love
And that's what we just talked about this earlier too, right? And I know people are probably sick of that. Oh my gosh, you talked about, but we literally just talked about this earlier, right? Trying to be a better version of ourselves every day. Like a small adjustment, Sean said, to whatever it is that's holding us back from our success. Making those small adjustments and changing whatever habits or whatever things that are going in our lives that are pulling us down so we can level up. And that's what it's about. And that's what life is about, because it's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen within a week or 2 weeks. The process is gradual, right? And that's why it's important just to spend a little bit of time and just on trying to get better.
Right. And it's not easy. You know, we talk about this type of stuff like, oh, this is all you got to do. It's not easy. And we understand that, you know, it's choices that are made every single day throughout the day, you know, multiple choices that we have to make to head in this direction. And yeah, exactly. And that's the key, man. It is hard, but the more you do it, the easier it gets to do it.
Becomes a habit.
Exactly.
Part of your life.
And you know, you're still going to wake up and you're not going to want to do it. I go to work every single day. There is never a day that I wake up and I'm like, all right, yeah, I could do this today. I never want to do it. I hate my job.
Right.
I can't stand it. It's not what sets me on fire as a
Yeah.
person. And the older I get, the more painfully aware of how I'm not going to be here for a long time, forever. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to waste any of that time doing things that don't set my soul on fire and that don't bring me happiness and joy. But again, I got to make that choice, because what I get from that is, you know, I'm building up that muscle of going against, you know, being persistent and going against the things the hardships of life that come up. I'm never going to, you know, things are going to come up that you don't want to do, but you got to get it done. I get paid from this job, so there are benefits from me doing it. So that's the reason why I do it. But in all of the other aspects of my life, I'm trying to make those type of choices and those decisions that bring me, that balance out that scale, right? Of bringing me joy and bringing me happiness, bringing me purpose and fulfilling it, and helping others fulfill their purpose if I can. Absolutely. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I find, another thing that I find as I get older, how good it feels to help somebody else open their eyes to things about themselves in a good way, right? And help them get better, even if it's that 1% that we talked about, right, Kyle? Making those choices and choosing to be inspired. It's so easy to choose to stay down and allow those things to, like we said, you know, compile on top of you. But if you can choose to be inspired, choose to surround yourself with people that motivate you. Again, we talk about the importance of having that right circle, right? Like I think it was Barry that was talking about, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you your future, right? All of these type of things. And I'm going on a tangent, I realize that. But to bring it back around.
No, but it's about, but to piggyback that, it's about eliminating the things that aren't productive or conducive to the success and happiness to your life, right?
Exactly.
Whether it's at your circle, your habits, wife, spouse, brother, sister, because we know even family can be toxic as well. Even family can, and that are
100%
culprits that need to be removed from the equation unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? It's about our peace, though. It's about our mental health. It's about our
Right.
growth. And if we're not growing, like we talked about, we're dying. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about before, right, Sean? So, man, all of that is important. All of that is huge.
Just all need to find a sugar mama to take care of all this stuff.
Right, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. We got to find that side mistress or something that to help us out. Be like Deuce Bigelow and start dating those odd older women and shit like that. But all right, so I mean, you're planning on having a few fights, a few more fights and stuff like that. What's the long term goal? Are you planning on staying involved in like coaching, training? Are you looking to have your kids get involved? You know, what's the long term plan?
Yeah, I do teach my mainly my oldest. I mess around, like play around with my younger kids, but my oldest is gonna be 9 in like 7 days. No, 5 days.
Oof.
What's the day today?
Right, the 14.
So 4 days. Oh shit! So gonna be 9. So I teach him stuff every now and then, but like it's hard for kids, like because their attention span.
Right.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I do like 20 minutes every now and then with him just to get his hands, because I mean they do taekwondo, but I mean like, I'm saying, like taekwondo is more like good what you call it, like structure. So I appreciate that. Like and
Right.
Yeah.
but like hands wise, no. So
Yeah.
so like I try to teach him that, and then I work with people at my gym. I'm gonna probably I'm helping this one kid who's gonna fight next month, and I do enjoy helping like people like coaching, but like I get that imposter syndrome thing sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
I've been dealing with that. Listen, oh my gosh. Like, my wife could beat me up about it if she heard me talking about this imposter syndrome. Me
It's
being
real.
a professional basketball player for X amount of years, over a decade, and still feeling like my knowledge won't be accepted or my knowledge is not enough. Like,
I'm
why
saying-
even put it out there? You know what I mean? Who's going to listen to me?
Exactly.
So yeah, so it's very real. At the same time, I realize there's somebody that doesn't have that information that you have, though, and so for that, you're able to help somebody. And I'm actively continuing to to tell myself that because I still go through it. I still like have barely put out any instructional videos on basketball because the doubts, not doubts, but the thoughts in my head right now are like, well, there's so many people doing it. Right? There's so many resources out there. Why would mine pick up? Why should mine be successful? And it's not about that, right? It's about helping somebody else. You know what I'm saying? In the process of it all. So right on, man. Right on. And that's a great question that Sean asked you. Like, what do you plan on doing after that MMA fight? Because it's going to come. That time's going to come. And it's going to be time to switch gears, like everything else. And we got to continue to find things that are going to give us that purpose, that to fulfill our destiny, like to fulfill us, to make us feel righteous, right? So it's questions that we all need to ask ourselves, and then we need to start imagining. Again, that word
milestones,
imagination.
I'm pretty sure that my youngest, my 4-year-old daughter, is going to be a beast. So
Yeah, it's always the little ones that we don't expect, right?
All right. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, again, thank you for coming on here and sharing and putting your heart out there, right? It's not easy, like we talked about, talking about what we're going through and feeling like we're going to get judged for it, feeling like we're not efficient enough, feeling like we're soft, right? Feeling like we're embarrassed, feeling like we're not strong enough, feeling like we're not man enough. Real men cry.
Right.
Real men go through things. A lot of men are. Men's
100%.
mental health is a thing. We just talked about that. We had an episode about that, right? So,
Yep.
man, there's not one person that's not going through something, and it's imposter syndrome to say that they aren't going through anything, right? So that's really the imposter syndrome. So, man, thank you, brother. Thank you for being inspiring. Thank you for your story. Man, keep on pushing through and know that your story is very powerful. It's impactful. It's inspiring. And if you continue to stay with that thought process, man, you're going to continue to thrive, bro.
thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on, and thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.